The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Yo, Trevor. Jim Rutherford's been a GM or president or just any manager position in the NHL for 30 years. He was drafted in 1969. This guy's 75 years old. I guarantee his balls are heavier than our balls. Straight up. And we just turned 30.
Rutherford's balls are bigger than my biceps, man. Are you kidding me? This guy's a legend. And he's going to make stuff happen this week. And we're going to talk about it here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
As Rutherford slaps those balls around, the smoke billows on Canucks rumors, and we're going to touch on that here on Locked On Canucks. I'm Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a Canucks writer for Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into this episode of Locked On Canucks, we got to thank you for tuning into us here on Locked On Canucks, because it is your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. If you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe or follow us for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. We're going to touch on it, but this has been the craziest Canucks season of all time, and the rumors that have transpired over the past 24 hours since Cal and I turned off the record button yesterday have been wild. Okay? Now, it's the time of year where things change.
Hey, Trevor, can I cut you off there? Look, I got to bring this stuff for the Discord, okay? For real. I know it's early. Got to cut Trevor off. Discord link in the bio. Look at one of these posts, right? From one of the Discord members. You want to talk about rumors. I sent you this one earlier too. Who is this guy? Who's Gerald? Somebody posted in the Discord that the trade's almost done. Höglander in a pick, going to Pittsburgh for Guentzel. It kind of scared me. And the reporter's name, the insider, was Gerald. Rumors, man, they're everywhere. Gerald does not exist. Anyways, Bagsy, continue. It's an emotional time, okay? I'm emotional right now as a Vancouver Canucks fan. Literally all over the place.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it is a crazy time of year. Things are changing hour by hour. Let's touch on the latest here, but I want to start off by talking about Jim Rutherford. As we get into the show, we'll talk about the Elias Lindholm rumors, what a three-way trade could look like between the Bruins, Penguins, and the Canucks. And again, let's touch on it. Has this been the craziest Canucks season of all time? Because I think so. And we'll tell you a few reasons why later on in the episode. But, all the crazy stuff that's happening with the Vancouver Canucks right now, it starts with Jim Rutherford. And give Patrick Allvin credit too. He's the general manager. He's the guy making the calls, calling the shots. But Jim Rutherford has a history that spans decades, Kyle, as you mentioned, of being one of the boldest guys in NHL history. Now, Jim Rutherford is one of only two general managers ever to win Stanley Cups with two different organizations. The only other guy to do so was Tommy Gorman, which you probably haven't heard of because he was a general manager back in the 1930s.
Okay, can you say that all over again? Because blow my mind again, okay? Blow my mind again. What did you just say?
Jim Rutherford is one of only two general managers in NHL history to win two Stanley Cups in charge of two different organizations.
That's crazy, bro.
And now he's the president here. He's the president here. So yes, he's not technically general manager if the Canucks win, but if he does, he's got to go down as one of the greatest roster builders of all time. And it's interesting because he's gotten criticism in Pittsburgh. He got it, before they won the Cup when they were making moves and they got eliminated in round one in 2015 to the Rangers. And then they go on to win back-to-back Cups and everyone is praising this guy. I think there's something similar going on right now because you talk about the Elias Lindholm trade. They gave up assets to get him, but Kyle, you and I were happy with it at the time. Most of our listeners were on board with it because, again, you look at this team and why not go all in? Every team in this league has flaws right now, including the Vancouver Canucks, but I don't think the Canucks are far away from being the best team in the league if they aren't already the best team in the league. Rutherford did talk to our buddy Chris Faber over at Canucks.com, and this quote really caught my attention, but he talked about how the fact that I think he said, I believe in one area that would be a priority for us if we can add a top six forward, which is interesting because he said the same thing before they acquired Lindholm, and clearly Lindholm has not worked out to be that guy. So that gives more smoke to the rumors that Elias Lindholm could actually be on the move, which, let me say again, would be unprecedented unprecedented. Let me know in the comments if you found a similar trade.
Hey,
I
say
can't
that word
think of
again. Say that word again. Say it again.
That would be unprecedented.
Who's our
I
president?
cannot think.
Who's our president? Jim Rutherford. Okay, there you go, man. It makes sense, bro. It's gonna happen, bro. Okay, so the Vancouver Canucks, when they got Lindholm, before they got Lindholm, they didn't have on their like to-do list a third line center. We want the best third line center in hockey. They didn't have that. They had, we need a top 6 winger, and we think we can move Petey to the wing or Lindholm to the wing, but we need these two to work out, and it hasn't worked out. And the season matters too much for them to, I guess, continue on with this gamble that doesn't seem to be working. It's crazy because it feels like he just got here. Has he been given a long leash to really try this thing out before we quote unquote give up on him? You know what I'm saying? Rutherford, man, balls of steel, man. It's something else, man. What a guy, dude. I can't believe you just said that stat, man. One of 2 GMs to GM 2 teams to Stanley Cups. I know he's not the GM, but when reading Chris Faber's article, and we'll put the link to that in the bio below, I think like the first sentence was like, Jim Rutherford's been a manager, or this summer or next year will be Jim Rutherford's 30th year as a manager in the NHL. Like right now he's the president, but still kind of, pressing buttons. And I might want to do this now. I mean, you've been in the press box, you maybe have had these conversations, but do you think like Patrick Allvin doesn't get enough credit for some of that swagger? Because I think he's like that too. Like you talk about the age, right? Rutherford is 75. He's still young. Okay, this guy's gonna live till 147 years old. He's determined. Okay, he loves hockey too. He loves hockey more than anyone. He's gonna get it done. He wants to see the game grow. He's gonna watch the most games of all time too. Okay, but Alvin might just be like his protege.
Yeah, no, I think Alvin, there's an argument to be made that he doesn't get enough credit because, like I said, he's the guy calling the shots, right? At the end of the day, I think Rutherford obviously has an influence, but I think one of the reasons why Alvin is here is because Rutherford has a lot of respect for him. Rutherford's the guy that brought him in here, right? And I know they went through the interview process, but I wouldn't be surprised if Alvin was kind of the front runner all along, even if we didn't know it at the time back in late 2021, early 2022. Now, going back to Rutherford's quote, I mean, yeah, it's interesting where he's like, in an ideal world, we want to add a top six winger. Then he goes on to say, exactly. He says, in an ideal world, we add 2, but I think that might be a fantasy if we're thinking about that. So it's going to depend on what the price is. Now, this is the Debbie Downer part of the show where I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. I think the probability is that Guentzel does not become a Vancouver Canuck and Lindholm stays in Vancouver. Those are the most likely scenarios here. Because, again, we have never seen a trade like this where you go and trade a roster player, a first-round pick, a third-round pick, a high-end prospect defenseman, and then you go flip the guy a month later. That just does not happen. I think these conversations maybe happen more behind the scenes than we think. It just doesn't always get leaked, right? So the odds are that it's not going to happen. And I hate to say that because it's not a lot of fun. I want to see the chaos. I want to see, Guentzel come to the Canucks and let them pull off one of the craziest 3-way trades in NHL history. And we'll give our proposals later on what that trade could look like.
Well, it kind of looks like a 4-way trade. It kind of looks like a 4-way trade if it does happen, You got to throw Calgary in there too because it just seems like that in such short order. And bro, you said, it might not be the sexiest thing, and I'm paraphrasing now. But if, Lindholm is still a Canuck, I still think there's something there that can happen. I think the Canucks are only like pondering doing this because they're right around trade deadline and teams are probably calling because other teams have really good GMs too, and really good presidents and cerebral guys and people with a lot of legacy and championship pedigree. They're doing their job, right? And it's making the Canucks think, and you always got to be thinking of making your team better if the goal is June. And Rutherford and Allvin and company are always thinking about what's next. So yeah, they're taking calls and maybe some of those things leaked. But I don't think they'll be crying after the deadline if they weren't able to move Lindholm. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll buckle down. They know that they still have something there. He can still be a part of the top 6, but let's make it priority number 1 to make this happen and make it happen now.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what this also says though? Again, the whole when Rutherford added the whole other player, like they want 2 top 6 guys, bro. Come on, man. That says a lot about Ilya Mikheyev and Pius Suter still playing in your top 6. And I think they really want, again, I'm throwing this out there. I don't know if they're going to be able to move Mikheyev. Maybe they don't make any trades. Who knows, right? But ideally, I think at one point they do want to try McCabe and Suter on one line together on the fourth line.
Yeah.
I think they want to try that out.
Yeah, to your point, Cal, I think that top 6 comment is more of an indictment on McKayev. Like, that's the guy who's making almost $5 million. That's the guy they signed to ideally play in a top 6 role. Pius Suter was a $1.6 million depth signing, right? Like, he's providing way beyond his value, and he's providing more value than McKayev right now, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'm so curious to see what happens. I do think it's maybe more in the Jason Zucker mold, which is way less sexy, but Rutherford also had a quote as well about how, here's the quote. He said, as to, we already paid a sizable price to bring in Elias Lindholm, and that's what we'll be juggling all week. As to, do you go real hard and target one of the big names, or do you go with somebody that's had success in the league and is maybe not quite having the same success at this point, where the price may be a bit lower? That's the thing they're debating. And the guy on the second end of that sentence is a guy like Jason Zucker, who has had success in this league, is a heart and soul player who forechecks hard. But he's not as sexy as Jake Guentzel or Tyler Toffoli or one of the big names out there.
Okay, there's a 26% chance that Jason Zucker can pop off for the Vancouver Canucks. There's a 50% chance that he's the exact same player, and there's a 25% chance or a 24% chance that he's Ilya Mikheyev. Like right now, just you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I think that like lower end sexy move. I mean that is not sexy is actually unlikely to happen because it's still going to require this team to like give up assets. And I think they're going to do the second part of the article tomorrow. The Canucks already gave up some assets in Zadorov too. Like they've been moving. Yeah. And as Canucks fans, I don't know about you. I don't know about you, bro. But if they don't do anything or anything like relative to the top 6 or the top 4 of this team, I'm not going to give them a F minus. You know what I'm saying? They got Nikita Zadorov and Elias Lindholm in 1 year, in a couple of months. They've done a lot of work. They've traded a lot of assets.
Yeah, that's not to mention all the roster construction that they did earlier in the summer, in the beginning of the season too.
Exactly.
Lafferty, Smith, Cole, all that stuff, right? Susie, who came back last night as well and played really rock solid. And I know you wanted to.
I'm gonna name my kid Susie. I'm gonna name my kid Susie. Susie Bowen, bro. That guy's a owner of a strip club.
Holy. One more quick point on Rutherford, and it relates to the competition, and then we'll cut to break and talk about the 3-way trade proposals on the other side. But some of the motivation for Rutherford in this management regime might be, again, they've made their moves, Kyle, like you said. It does sound like there's more to come. There's just too much smoke right now to say that nothing's going to happen. Although, come on, it is possible. Look at what happened today, or in the past 24 hours. Vegas goes out and acquires Mantha for second or fourth. Not a difference maker, but Mantha's still having a good season. He's a big body.
Where's the button, dude?
I think he could be successful in Vegas. Edmonton goes out and gets Henrique and Carrick, 2 great penalty killers to shore up, their depth, and their depth isn't fantastic right now. And then Colorado, absolutely making moves. Joe Sakic, his brass ones are almost as big as Rutherford's. Not quite, but they're almost as big as Rutherford's.
Who's the GM in Colorado? It's Sakic and another guy, right? No, but
Sakic's president now.
Yeah.
Did they make Chris McFarland general manager? That might be
something like that. That's it, man. Chris McFarland, is that the creator of Family Guy?
And that's Seth MacFarlane, I think.
Okay, cool.
That'd be cool, the moves they made today to get Sean Walker on the team, get Ryan Johansson out, Casey Middlestaff for Bowen Byron, just some big, bold, brass moves that really improved their team today. I mean, the Canucks competition got a lot better in the last 24 hours. So
yeah,
I just don't think Rutherford's got to sit on the sidelines here. Can't wait to see what happens.
I hear you.
Can't wait to see them slap those big brass ones on the table,
Yeah, get to break. I got a lot to say. I like this conversation. You know what? I hope we only talk about trades for like 3 more minutes and whatnot, because I just want to talk about the games, man. I'm not like enjoying all this drama, even though I know it's trade deadline season, and I'm just super sensitive these days. I just want to talk about the games. Anyways, Trevor Beggs, who we shouting out on this episode of Locked On Canucks? Hit the like button, the subscribe button. We'll tell you about a contest too going on in our Discord. Beggsy, who we shouting out?
All right. Yeah. On the other side, we'll touch 3-way trade proposals, maybe a bit of the game. Come on. We got to talk trades, though, right? We're 48 hours out from the trade deadline. Got to shout out 2 beloved sponsors before we get to the next segment. They are Sleeper and Robinhood. All right, Canucks fans, we're in the stretch drive and you cheer for one of the best teams in the NHL. If you want to be the best at something else, why don't you go try playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is my number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All you have to do is pick whether studs like Brock Besser, Quinn Hughes, or JT Miller will record more or less than their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and more in a given game. To win a 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Canucks fans. You could win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. Lots of three-way talk, baby. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at Robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA is available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is registered broker-dealer.
Great job, buddy. You're so talented.
Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.
Okay, we back on this conversation about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Beggs. And we're giving away Canucks tickets. Boom. Yo, can we win these competitions? Is that legal? Why not, man?
Well, I mean, we make the rules, but that's kind of unethical.
Okay, 2 tickets to the Kings game, right? Game 3 against the Kings, March 25th. Again, 2 tickets. Sign up to the Discord. The link is in the bio. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. And I don't know. Hopefully you win, and hopefully you like the conversation that's happening in the Discord. Okay, wannabe insiders, some good times, some good people that we're gonna be vibing with at the live show whenever that happens, right down the road. And this is how we get our practice. This is how we become friends before the event. Okay, I don't want it to be awkward. Straight up. I also don't want it to be quote unquote pricey too, right? $1.25 hot dogs and $5 drinks. And we can only do this because of JS, man. Go Canucks, go. Another super chat. And JS, I'm going to announce this too right here, okay? $1.25 hot dogs. Trevor will be grilling all of them. $5 drinks. And JS, you're the only one who gets this coupon. Bro, you get 2 free hot dogs and 2 free drinks, okay? You heard it here first. Anyways, Beggsy, do it. You are so excited to talk more about rumors and drama and trauma and all these things. Well, I just want to talk about the game yesterday. What else you got to say about these 3-ways, bro? You a freaky guy, bro. You a freaky guy.
You ever been in 3-way? No,
No way, dude. That's Mission Impossible, bro. That's Mission Impossible, bro.
Oh, man. Yeah, we can't talk about that. Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Family program, okay? Boston, Pittsburgh, Vancouver. This is actually going to happen. I mean, this tweet came out a little after we recorded the episode yesterday. And again, I used the word unprecedented already. Won't go down that rabbit hole again. But you can see why this would make sense for Boston, right? You can see why this would make sense for Vancouver, who I'm not sure it makes a lot of sense for is Pittsburgh necessarily. But how it could make sense is that, Vancouver just gets Guentzel straight up. Mm-hmm. Boston gets Lindholm straight up. And Pittsburgh collects, the futures and assets from both those teams. Now,
yeah, that's going to happen.
I'm still toying with what exactly this trade would look like because Pittsburgh said they want prospects, they don't want picks. Neither Boston or Vancouver even has a 2024 first rounder. They both only have their 2025 first rounders. So At the end of the day, and this is why I'm leery on this trade, I just think it has to include probably one of Lekkerimaki, Willander, or Höglander if you're the Vancouver Canucks. Now you have you can move Lindholm to get off the salary, so that's not an issue anymore. But that's the scary part of this trade for the Canucks. I think it's probably got to be Höglander because they seem pretty reluctant to trade Lekkerimaki and Willander according to reports. So I wonder if the trade really just does look like Pittsburgh maybe grabs 2 first-round picks and then Höglander and then a prospect from Boston. That could be the trade. And
are you trying to tell me that like Lindholm has absolutely no, like, he is not at the same value as he was when Calgary gave him to us? Like, there's no chance we can get a similar return for Elias Lindholm?
I think you're getting the same return. I think you're getting the same return, but you're giving it to Pittsburgh.
Of course, that's okay. So it's still like a prospect, a 3rd-round pick, and a 1st-round pick, and you're telling me that like the Canucks would have to add like not their 2025 first, not just that, but like that and one of those prospects or one of those 3 young players.
Look,
I feel like that's like if the Canucks are taking the Boston package and then also throwing in a 2025 first, bro, the most they would go, and they'd have a tough time doing it, is like Podkolzin. Like, I feel like it'd be tough for them to give up on Podkolzin and it'd have to be like Aatu Ratu or something, I don't know.
I think Aatu Ratu might even have a higher ceiling than Podkolzin, to be completely honest with you.
Holy,
Look, all we've heard from reporters nationally, locally in Pittsburgh is that the price for Guentzel is, quote, ridiculous. So I don't think the Canucks are just going to walk in there and give a second in Podkolzin and then boom, bam, and Lindholm, I guess, as well. And then boom, bam, go get Jake Guentzel. I think it's going to be a ridiculous price. And that's why I say I don't think it's going to happen. I would love to see it for the chaos aspect, for the fact that this has never really happened in NHL history, but I have a really hard time seeing this trade happen. Again, makes sense for Boston to get Lindholm in a nutshell. Makes sense for the Canucks to get Guentzel in a nutshell. But for Boston and Vancouver to give the assets they're going to need to give up in this deal, I don't think it makes sense.
You know who Pittsburgh should ask for? Carson Soucy. That's what, honestly speaking. Like, you know what? We don't want any of that stuff. You guys keep Lindholm. Let's not bring him to the East. You guys do us a favor. We want that Carson Soucy guy. Carson Soucy, bro, he's played a lot of clean games this season, bro. He's played a lot of, like, I'm going to go out there, do my job. I'm going to skate really well. I'm going to be a little bit of aggressive, not like physical, but, just go into the play, try to make a play offensively. There's a lot to like about him. I like his poise. And for him to do that against LA, and the Canucks did a lot against LA last night. I was really impressed. But the Soucy thing, it was just, it made me feel better about, again, June. I'm dreaming about June.
Yeah, we're both dreaming about June, and that's why I think this the Guentzel talk is so fascinating right now. Sorry, reading a tweet online. The Canucks have acquired Gabranson, but it was from 2016.
You got scared there, man.
Trying to check if there's any trades coming in as we're doing the show here. But
okay.
I think on tomorrow's episode, it depends what happens today. Like, we might be doing an emergency pod like at 10 o'clock at night. I got a work event tonight. I won't be home till late, but we might be doing an emergency episode if they do some 3-way trade here. But I think tomorrow we'll go through maybe some other proposals, or maybe it'll just be me doing proposals and Kyle will be sitting there complaining about how we're talking about trades when there's real hockey games going on. But
dude, come on, man. I'm dude, like tomorrow, bro, if like Thursday night, if there's any emergency episodes, bro, like, dude, the only emergency episode I want to do tomorrow night is recapping Game 2 of Carson Soucy's resurgence as one of the best D-man in hockey, okay? For real. Trevor, can you blame me for having enough of the drama? Like, dude, I just want to talk about the games, bro. I'm a games guy. I'm about the process on the ice. And I know the players have a lot to do with it, and there's a lot of, like, X's and O's that still got to be fixed. You got Suter McCabe in your top 6. Like, obviously moves are going to happen, but, like, I'm definitely fiending life after the trade deadline. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, Kyle, how about to make you happy, let's talk a bit about the game to wrap up the show, because it was an interesting game last night with a couple of wrinkles, including Elias Lindholm's mysterious appearance. No, there's some other cool things that happened as well.
Whoa.
And the Canucks stars showing up. But let's give our top takeaways from the game last night and look ahead a bit maybe to Vegas as well. And we'll talk some trades too, right? Okay, we'll see what happens on the other side. But before we get to the other side, I got to shout out Indeed. No matter how the last game went, anytime you take the field, you've got a shot at greatness. Give your team the best shot at winning by recruiting more MVPs with Indeed. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. And Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have job requirements, or else you don't pay. Indeed partners with you on every step of the hiring process. Find great talent through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy, okay? They make it easy. Where's the Staples button? Because they make it easy, baby. Indeed makes it easy to hire great talent. According to ComScore, Indeed is the #1 job site worldwide. Join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Offer valid through March 31st. Go to Indeed.com/lockedon to claim your $75 credit before March 31st. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
We back on this conversation about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Baggs, and boom, bam. We're giving away some Canucks tickets. Hit the link in the bio to the Discord. Join the conversation. Speaking of which, I just fixed the link. Somebody just told me that it wasn't working. I guess there was like a 7-day limit on it. I just switched it. Okay, I'm learning. I'm 30 and a half years old. I'm an old guy. This is new technology. It is what it is. It's like, it'll help me out with the remote. Discord is a totally different remote, okay, for real. Lindholm is a totally different type of player than we, I think, initially wished for, in a sense, because I think we want so much. We're not even open to the little things, and I'm a little bit guilty of this because the Canucks have been struggling, and I'm a soft person. I get sensitive. I get mad, and I was taking it out on Lindholm, but I look at this comment from Mr. Whale, right? Lindholm is a center with more upside, also not a bad cap hit. We will get whatever, right? Like, just describing him and who he is. And there were some plays yesterday in that Kings game, a game where he was offensively just a little bit better, and a little bit better based on your prior games being invisible isn't saying much. But again, there were moments defensively for Lindholm that I really liked. And when you talk about 2-1 games against big teams, and Lindholm is a pretty big player, like he creates a lot of space around him because he's just big. I feel as if there's importance to him still. Again, there was plays yesterday in the defensive zone, even in the offensive zone, just to keep pucks alive and retrieve pucks. Like, there's stuff there. There is.
Yeah, no, again, we talked about it before, right? And every day is Lindholm's got a high floor. He wins faceoffs. Hasn't been great on the penalty kill here, but I think he can provide value there. He just can't be, penciled into your third line center. It's just not going to work. I would argue right now, I don't know if this is a bold take, but I think Lindholm's the 5th best center on this team. I think Bluger and Suter are better centers than Lindholm is. Get Lindholm in the top 6 if you want to get the most out of him. To me, it does not make sense. It does not make sense to me to have him on your third line. You're wasting. Again, you're getting the floor out of Lindholm. You're not getting the ceiling if you have him on your third line.
No, 100%. I think you're right on that.
And I think last night, again, that mysterious absence, I think, had Canuck fans in a tizzy, had me in a tizzy. I'm like, what's going on? Is the three-way trade happening? I felt like a little kid at Christmas, man, to be honest. But obviously, he comes back maybe through the second period. I think it was overall maybe his lowest ice time of the season. Obviously, he missed about 15 minutes of actual play, but played under 15 minutes last night. But when I think about the Canucks and their cup run, obviously, you got to have the depth, you got to have the scoring, defense has got to hold up. But if this Canucks team does, go on a long run or even win the cup, it's going to be because the 4 pillars are playing their absolute best. And we got that last night. Last night. Quinn Hughes was an absolute force last night. The Canucks had, 10 high danger chances to 1 for the Kings when Hughes was on the ice. Like, that's ludicrous.
Yeah.
Pettersson obviously had a big game. Miller scores the overtime winner. And then Thatcher Demko, maybe the save of the year. Like,
there you go.
The 4 pillars of the Canucks came through. So,
yeah,
to me, it's like, I'm curious to see what happens at this deadline, obviously. I'm so curious to see if they're going to make a big move or maybe do some more tinkering. But at the end of the day, it is just kind of noise in the next, couple days here, because if the Canucks go on a cup run, it's going to be because of the 4 best players on this team. 4 MVP candidates, in my mind.
Again, going back to what I said earlier, I'm not going to be disappointed if they don't do anything, okay? I think they've done a lot. I'm also going to applaud the effort that they've made, okay? Like, Rutherford has made it really clear over the last 2 weeks via The stuff with Carolina and now this article with Faber on Canucks.com. They're looking, they're working, they're grinding. And look at all the rumors out there this morning, aggressively in the run for Jake Guentzel. That tells me that they were probably a little close, probably like a phone call away, a successful little banter away from getting this thing done. They're trying. And you know why they're trying extra hard too? Because it's their job. And B, look at what happened in Pittsburgh, man. Malkin Crosby, Letang, Matt Murray, when he was on his game, Marc-Andre Fleury, blah, 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 right? You talk about the pillars. I'm not, again, those players that we just mentioned, they're some of the best 50 players of all time, right? But there's something similar here. Look how good JT Miller is playing right now. He's playing better than Pettersson, way better than Pettersson. Look how much more they can get from Pettersson. Straight up. That's something to dream about. You're talking about the most important position in the sport. Oh, that's not the most important position in the sport? Okay, look at Quinn Hughes. Look at Quinn Hughes. I know what you're saying. Yesterday it was nice to see. I feel as if he's on the way back up. Very, very important game from him. And then obviously Demko, man. That guy is somebody that I think obviously can steal games for this team. And again, maybe we take him for granted when we go. Again, I'm talking about myself. When we start struggling and he's letting 3 goals in, 4 goals in, like, yo, make the save, make an extra save, take away a goal. He did that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Made one of the nicest saves I've ever seen. The pillars are here. You're right.
The pillars are here. Again, devil's advocate, though. McCabe in the top 6. They're trying to force it. They're trying to make it work, and it is just not working right now.
We're about to cry. We're about to be happy and just like, yo, we got this, man. Like, you know what? We got this, man. We're gonna win the cup, bro. You're right, man. And then this guy brings up McCabe, man. Oh man.
Like I said, the pillars are important, right? You got to have good players, and Best had a good game last night. Hronik, I think, kind of fought the puck a bit. I think he struggled. Had some good moments too. But I feel like Hughes is kind of propping him up and bailing him out at some points as well. But yeah, Rutherford's right. This team could use another top 6 winger, but what is the cost going to be? And, parting with the 2025 first or Willander or Lekkerimäki or Höglander is not ideal. Even if it is Jake Guentzel you're getting in return, right? That's just such a tough one because of his prowess in scoring in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But, I think on tomorrow's episode, if a big trade does not happen, we'll talk about some other potential targets for the Canucks. We've discussed them this week already, but let's narrow it down to maybe the top 5 most realistic targets for the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe the top 7.
Man.
Who knows the list we're going to come up with.
Why, dude? Why can't we tee up the game against the Golden Knights, man?
Because we can do both, man. It's Locked On Canucks.
Why can't we spend 25 minutes teeing up the matchup, bro?
Because here's why, Kyle. Because
dude.
there's 6 to 8 months of NHL games. There's only a couple days till the trade deadline's here. Actually, we only got one more show theoretically to the trade deadline's here. So maybe I'll do a solo tomorrow.
Okay, do it, man. Take it away. I don't want to do no rumor show, man. Because, man, just the games. Okay, don't you think? Okay, last point, because I just want to talk about the games, okay? Again, the Canucks, they impressed me a lot. Their team effort yesterday was really impressive in the last 40 minutes. And that's after having a really impressive first 5 minutes of the game, too. But there was Trevor Lewis scoring the first goal of the game. And it kind of looked like a boring game. And the trauma started settling in, right? Like, oh, my God, we're going to lose this game. It's going to be hard. And then you fast forward to the 5-minute mark of the second period. We still don't have a goal. But overall, we're working hard. We're dominating in the offensive zone. But again, with all that being said, that's still not good enough because they're still losing. And then what happens? You're right. Pettersson steps up, does his thing, scores a beautiful goal. How did he get the puck? Oh, Niels Höglander making smart plays, aggressive plays, being great along the boards. Boom, bam. 1-1. And then what they do is play a pretty exciting third period. Both teams played pretty well. Like, they were going at it. That was a playoff-like third period. And Demko did what he had to do. And then overtime hits. And who does it? JT Miller continues the point streak, literally willing this team to above 500 ways right now through this 14-game stretch. That was magical, man. And that's what being a Canucks fan is all about. And I just want to talk about the games. Okay. Anyways, Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs, the Discord, man. Link in the bio. Win some free tickets. Two tickets. Man, maybe we can win. Who knows, man? We Canucks fans too. Okay. Anyways, Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs. Beggsy, sign us out.
All right. Shout out to the everydayers, occasional listeners, first-time listeners, new subscribers, and those of you who joined us here on the live YouTube feed, and those of you who sign up to Discord to chat Canucks with us and get a chance at winning some free tickets. Hey, we love each and every one of you. your families, your dogs, your cats, and your pet snakes as well. Coming up on tomorrow's episode, we don't know what's happening because there's some editorial differences here.
There is.
Between me wanting to talk about trade possibilities, Kyle wanting to talk about the
You can
games.
have the solo show.
Maybe
You
we'll
can do it,
both.
man. You can do it. Get you the big screen, wear some sunglasses, man. Dude, I'll Uber eat you some food. Have a day, man. It's your favorite time of the year, man. Favorite time of the year, Trevor, man.
No. Don't get it confused. My favorite time of the year is playoff hockey, man, which we have not gotten to experience in April in a long time. I've said it before, but last time there was Canucks playoff hockey in April, I did not live with my wife, and now I have a wife and 2 kids. I mean, it's been 9 freaking years. It's been way too long.
Damn,
April, May, and June is my favorite time of year when there's Canuck playoff hockey going on. We're going to have all that Canuck playoff coverage for you here at Locked On Canucks. But in the short term, there'll be some trade talk perhaps tomorrow. But stay tuned for trade talk, the Vegas Golden Knights preview. We got you covered on everything to do with the Vancouver Canucks. Let us know in the comments what you want to hear. Maybe you can help us settle our editorial differences. But we got to get out of here, okay? For now, I'm Trevor Banks. That guy's Kyle Bowen. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Go Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks.